Good morning to all of you. So, today's topic is treatment of dyslipidemia. To start with, lipoproteins. Our target will be the lipoprotein, which includes chylomicron remnants, VLDL, LDL and HDL. Actually, I am not going to discuss in deep about the pathophysiology, how they form and all. So, it can be learned from pathology or physiology. So we will going through the only drugs part. So in detail, our focus will be on VLDL, LDL and HDL. All of you know that VLDL, LDL are the bad cholesterol, while HDL is a good cholesterol. So in deep, VLDL, the lipid chylomicron remnant are, this line is HDL, LDL, lipoprotein, and they contain the which lipid? So VLDL contain more triglyceride than cholesterol, LDL contain cholesterol and HDL contain phospholipid and cholesterol. So this is the basic information. Lipoprotein, the lipid they contain, and the function. So function, VLDL endogenous triglyceride transport, LDL transport cholesterol to tissue and liver, and HDL removal of cholesterol from the tissue. Okay, so it removes the cholesterol from the tissue, the HDL. That's why it is beneficial to our body. So this is the basic information. The target lipoprotein and lipid for which we are going to use the hypolipidemic drugs. So the imbalance between this, the imbalance in this lipoprotein and lipid, which is called dyslipidemia. So ultimately we are going to treat this dyslipidemia. We have to decrease the VLDL, LDL, cholesterol, triglyceride, and we have to increase HDL. This is the aim of our treatment. Okay. This is the brief diagram. As we can see, dietary fats and cholesterol, which is absorbed or which is goes to the intestine and absorbed from the jejunum intestine, and ultimately it becomes the chylomicron. The chylomicron will be absorbed from the intestine, and chylomicron will be converted to the VLDL. Ultimately VLDL will be converted to IDL, IDL will be converted to LDL, LDL converted to HDL, and HDL, the cholesterol will be incorporated into chylomicron one more time, and the cycle will be goes on. The chylomicron is having a chylomicron remnant. So chylomicron remnant will be absorbed into liver, and ultimately cholesterol will be increased in liver. From LDL also, LDL will be goes to the liver by LDL receptor, and ultimately cholesterol content of liver will be increased. This cholesterol will be incorporated into bile acid, and bile acid will be goes to the intestine. In intestine, it further attach with the dietary fats and cholesterol, and ultimately it make the chylomicron will be absorbed. This is one another cycle. So we have not to go in deeply about how it is working, but this is how the brief life cycle about the lipoproteins and lipid containing it, how they form, where they goes, and ultimately how they work. Now to start with our main topic, hyperlipoproteinemia can be primary or secondary. Primary hyperlipoproteinemia due to genetic defect. This is genetic based, and secondary, which is generally associated with the diabetes, myxoedema, nephrotic syndrome, and chronic alcoholism and various drugs like corticosteroids. So these are the causes for the hyperlipoproteinemia. Okay, so these are the causes. Now types of primary hyperlipoproteinemia, which includes type 1, 2A, 2B, 3, 4 and 5. Okay, so as we can see, the type 2B, which is the multifactorial and commonest of all, which is polygenic hypercholesterolemia, which is having an increased LDL. Okay. Now type 4, which is common, which is hypertriglyceridemia, which is having an increased VLDL. Other common or important is familiar beta lipoproteinemia, which is a rare, but we have to learn about this also, which is a having a increased IDL and chylomicron remnant. So others are familial type 1, which is a familial lipoprotein lipase deficiency. Type 5 is familiar combined hyperlipidemia. So these are the various type of classification of hyperlipoproteinemia, which includes type 1, 2A, 2B, 3, 4 and 5. And we have been gone through that in particular disease, particular type, which lipid or which lipoprotein is increased, as we can see in fourth row, in which there is a LDL increase, in which there is a VLDL, in which there is a triglyceride. So this is the basic information, so we can target the particular disease. If triglyceride is increased, which drug is to be given? If LDL is increased, which drug is to be given? If HDL is decreased, which drug is to be given? So this is the classification for this type of use. Now pharmacotherapy. First we have been gone through which are the lipids, which are the lipoprotein. Then briefly we have been gone through the cycle, which is for the understanding only. First which is formed, then ultimately converted to LDL, goes to the liver by LDL receptor. HDL is formed, HDL is disintegrated and ultimately lipid is goes to the chylomicron. So this we have learned. And lastly the diseases which is occurred due to the dyslipidemia, type 1, 2, 2A, 2B, 3, 4 and 5, and accordingly which lipid or lipoprotein is increased in particular disease. Now the pharmacology or pharmacotherapy, how to treat these diseases. So first line lipid lowering agents are HMG coenzyme reductase inhibitor, which is statin, the most important drug, most commonly used drug, one of the most commonly used drug. Statin, which includes lovastatin, simvastatin, pravastatin, atorvastatin, rosuvastatin. Atorva and rosuva is very much commonly prescribed. You can see the prescription of your relatives, who is having a previous angina or MI attack, or they are having a diabetes, or they are having a dyslipidemia. After 50 or 60 years, the people are regularly checking their lipid level. So physicians are prescribing their atorvastatin or rosuvastatin, which is a very, very common drug like hypertension and diabetes. And last is pitavastatin. Other drugs include bile acid binding resin, which is cholestyramine, cholestyramine and cholesevelam. Third is inhibition of intestinal absorption of cholesterol, which include ezetimibe. Second line lipid lowering agents, which is activator of lipoprotein lipase, which is fibrates, gemfibrozil, bezafibrate and fenofibrate, and inhibitor of VLDL secretion and lipolysis, which includes niacin or nicotinic acid. Miscellaneous agent, which include gugulipid, fish oil derivative, and newer drugs include torcetrapib and anacetrapib. Now mechanism of action and the lowering. So the statin, HMG coenzyme reductase, the most IMP drug group for the dyslipidemia. So which decreases the LDL about 20 to 55%, as we can see the first row. So LDL is decreased 20 to 50%. So LDL is majorly decreased. Now other groups are also decreased, LDL, HDL, but I am talking about the significant decrease, in particular lipoprotein or cholesterol. Now fibric acid derivative, fibrates, which decreases triglyceride 20 to 50%, which we can see triglyceride 20 to 50%, and nicotinic acid, which decrease triglyceride 20 to 50% and which is having a most potent potential for increase in HDL, as we can see in triglyceride and HDL. So HDL is increased by 20 to 30%, which is highest amongst all the hypolipidemic drugs, and triglyceride also decreased by 20 to 50%. So these three groups, all groups are important, but these three groups are more IMP to understand. On amongst all, the HMG coenzyme reductase statin is the most IMP drug, which is mostly used in amongst all dyslipidemic diseases. But triglyceride is particularly increased in a particular patient, so we can use either fibric acid or nicotinic acid, and HDL is decreased in particular patient, so we can add nicotinic acid. So now start with the statin. Statin ultimately inhibits the HMG coenzyme reductase enzyme, which is the enzyme which convert HMG coenzyme to mevalonate. As we can see in diagram, HMG coenzyme is converted to mevalonate, which is the rate limiting step in formation of the cholesterol. You can see ultimately acetyl coenzyme plus acetoacyl coenzyme, which becomes HMG coenzyme. Now HMG coenzyme is converted to mevalonate by HMG coenzyme reductase enzyme, and ultimately mevalonate is forming the cholesterol. So this is the mechanism. The rate limiting step is HMG coenzyme to mevalonate, which is inhibited by statin. Now when there is a formation of cholesterol is decreased, so body sense that there is a decreased cholesterol, and ultimately liver there is a LDL receptor, as we have seen in the previous diagram that LDL is absorbed in liver by LDL receptor. Now body is sensing that there is a decreased cholesterol in body, so there is a compensatory mechanism and LDL receptor on liver will be increased. So ultimately LDL is also absorbed from the all other at the liver from the body. So ultimately LDL is also decreased. So dual mechanism: first synthesis is inhibited, and second already formed LDL is more absorbed from liver, so there is a clearance of LDL from the body. So this is mechanism. Now action, effect of statin on CH level, as we have seen in previous diagram, the table. So this is the highest among 20 to 50%. LDL cholesterol, LDL-CH, which is 20 to 50%, results in compensatory increase in LDL receptor expression on liver cell and increase receptor mediated uptake, and catabolism of IDL and LDL will be increased. So this is the main action. Effect of statin on triglyceride, which is 10 to 30% decrease in triglyceride, as low intracellular level of CH also decreases VLDL, as CH is one of the component of VLDL. So less CH, less VLDL will be generated, and Ultimately, triglyceride is the major component of VLDL. Less VLDL, then there will be a less triglyceride. HDL, so it will increase 5 to 15% of HDL. Effect of LDL, which is 20 to 55% depending on dose and statin used. So LDL cholesterol is reduced by 6% with each doubling of dose. So ultimately we have gone through the mechanism of action and how it decreases various cholesterol, LDL, cholesterol, HDL increase and VLDL. So this is the mechanism. Now other potential cardioprotective effect, which is other than LDL lowering of statins, which is very beneficial. So as we are taking the statins for the dyslipidemia, but other mechanism also helpful. So these are called pleiotropic effect of statins, which is first is endothelial function. So it enhances the production of vasodilator nitric oxide, which improved endothelial function after a month of therapy. So as we all know that what is the function of nitric oxide. It ultimately dilates and it is having a beneficial effect to our body. So this is one of the pleiotropic effect side other beneficial effects. Second is plaque stability. So it inhibits the monocyte infiltration into the artery wall and ultimately inhibits the macrophage secretion of matrix metalloproteinase. So that this plaque is engulfed by macrophage and monocytes. So it is inhibited by the statins. So it is also very good when plaque will be engulfed by macrophage or monocyte. It will dislodge from its original position and it will roam around the vessels in our body. So it can cause, if it goes into heart, it can cause angina or MI. If it goes in lung, it will cause pulmonary embolism. If it goes in brain, so it can cause brain stroke. So these are the implication of dislodged plaque. So statin will stable the plaque. So it is a beneficial effect. NO secretion, plaque stability. Other is inflammation, so anti-inflammatory role. It decreases the level of C-reactive protein. Now we all know what is the CRP, C-reactive protein. So it decreases the inflammation. And it ultimately, other action is lipoprotein oxidation. So oxidative modification of LDL appears to play a key role in mediating the uptake of lipoprotein cholesterol by macrophage. So oxidation, when there is oxidation of LDL, it is having a more propensity to be engulfed by macrophages. So when statin will decreases the oxidation of LDL, so it will lesser goes to the cholesterol macrophages for the engulf. So this is the beneficial effect. So it decreases the lipoprotein oxidation. Others, rosuvastatin. Statin reduces the platelet aggregation and reduces the deposition of platelet thrombi. So plaque stabilization is after plaque formation, but before plaque formation it also decreases the plaque formation. So this is very beneficial and also having a different variable effect on fibrinogen level also. Elevated fibrinogen level are associated with the increase in incidence of congestive heart, cardiovascular heart diseases. So these are the pleiotropic effect. Other than effect of hypolipidemia. So which are the effect? NO production, decrease the plaque formation, and after formation of plaque it decreases the plaque dislodgement, it decreases the LDL oxidation. So LDL oxidation will decrease, so macrophage, monophage will not be attracted for the engulfing the particular LDL. Even it decreases the LDL and macrophage mediated engulfation. So these are the pleiotropic effect which is very beneficial over and above the hypolipidemic drugs of statin, and this is the reason that it may be the reason that why statin is most commonly prescribed. High efficacy, very multiple effect and high safety. Half-life 1 to 4 hours except in case of atorvastatin and rosuvastatin, which is about 20 hours. Now we can understand that due to its 20 hour, or which is almost a day effect, 24-hour effect, the atorva and rosuvastatin are most commonly prescribed drug. So it is generally excreted, metabolized and excreted by liver and with subsequently eliminated in feces. Adverse effect, it is remarkably well tolerated like placebo. This is very IMP sentence, that it shows that how it is safer. So whenever we are going to use any drug, so we have to see two aspects. One is efficacy and safety. Efficacy we have been gone through. Hypolipidemic drug plus pleiotropic effect, which is very good for the statins. Now safety, so it is like placebo. But some of the effects are hepatotoxicity, which includes elevation in hepatic transaminases. Other are myopathy, and incidence of myopathy is quite low, but it can be seen. Risk of myopathy and rhabdomyolysis, sleep disturbances, gastrointestinal complaint and headache. These are the some of the side effects, though it's very rare, but these are the some of the side effects: hepatotoxicity, myopathy, sleep disturbances and gastrointestinal complaint and headache. Contraindication, as it is metabolized by liver, it is contraindicated in liver. It is not prescribed in pregnancy and lactation. And administration, because HMG coenzyme reductase activity is maximum at the midnight, so all statins are administered at bedtime to obtain the maximum effectiveness. So whenever you are going to prescribe the statin, any of the statin, mostly you are going to prescribe the atorva or rosuvastatin in nowadays. So you are going to prescribe at bedtime. Okay. Now uses, so first choice drug for the primary hyperlipidemias with raised LDL and total cholesterol level with or without increased triglyceride level, which include primary hyperlipidemias in type 2A, 2B and 5. Secondary hypercholesterolemia in diabetic nephrotic syndrome, in severe drug resistant dyslipidemia, which include familial hypercholesterolemia and combination with izatimib, generally statin is used. So these are the primary hyperlipidemia માં ક્યાં ક્યાં યુઝ થાય એ વાત થઈ. સેકન્ડરી હાઇપરકોલેસ્ટેરોલેમિયા ક્યાં ક્યાં યુઝ થાય, અને સિવિયર ડ્રગ રેઝિસ્ટન્ટ લિપિડેમિયા. Incidence of all type of atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease, including new onset angina, myocardial infarction or other acute coronary syndrome, thrombotic stroke, peripheral arteriovascular diseases, which are reduced. So as we have seen in previous slides, pleiotropic effect are also working in background. Statins are also afford secondary prophylaxis of MI in patient who already had an attack. So secondary prophylaxis में लगभग each and every patient of MI is generally prescribed statin therapy. Reduction in venous thromboembolism following knee surgery observed with rosuvastatin used in post knee and hip replacement. Though the patient which is having a knee and hip replacement surgery is to be prescribed with the statin. So these are the uses. Now particular drug lovastatin, it is the first clinically used statin, lipophilically and given orally in precursor lactone form. Simvastatin, same as lovastatin except it is more potent. Now we have been gone through the only atorva and rosuvastatin. The atorvastatin is a newer and most popular statin. It is a more potent and appears to have the highest LDL cholesterol lowering efficacy at the maximal daily dose of 80 mg. Additional antioxidant property, as we have been gone through, that it decreases the oxidation of LDL cholesterol, which is a antioxidant property. Rosuvastatin, which is another newer commonly used potent statin. So these are the statin group, which is very important. Now in further slide we are going to start when to start statin. We will learn about it. Now second group, which is bile acid binding resin, which includes cholestyramine, cholestyramine and cholecerol. Mechanism action include resin bind to bile acid, and ultimately this make their size large. Resin plus bile acid. Resin is a drug. Bile acid binding resin. So resin plus bile acid, which make the molecule ultimately very large, which will not be absorbed, and the bound bile acid are excreted in stool. So this is the basic mechanism. Decrease in bile acid absorption by ileum interrupt the enterohepatic bile acid circulation. Hepatocyte ultimately upregulate the 7-alpha hydroxylase, increase in bile acid synthesis and decrease hepatic cholesterol concentration. So stimulating the production of LDL receptor, which increase ultimately hepatic LDL receptor expression and increase in LDL clearance. So ultimately LDL cholesterol will be decreased in the same manner in like statins. So there is in statin there was a decrease in synthesis of cholesterol. Here there is a decrease in absorption of cholesterol. Ultimately in both the situation, body will sense that there is a decreased cholesterol in body. Okay, so ultimately in both the drugs, on the liver there is a LDL receptor will be increased for the increase in cholesterol. Okay, so ultimately LDL clearance will be increased. So this is the basic mechanism in bile acid resin. It decreases the absorption. Adverse effect, as we have seen that drugs is not absorbed but it is excreted with the bile acid in the intestine. So adverse effect is bloating and dyspepsia, constipation, and in rare instances of hyperchloremic acidosis. So these are the side effects. Contraindication is severe hypertriglyceridemia. Disadvantage, so it is unpalatable, inconvenient, and have to be taken in large doses. Because of it, there is a increased chance of fluctuations and other GI disturbances. So it is having a poor patient acceptability. So these are the side effect and disadvantage of bile acid resins. Now other group is activator of lipoprotein lipase fibrate. This is also one of the commonly used drug group, fibrates. So fibrates primarily activate lipoprotein lipase, which is the key enzyme in degradation of VLDL, which results in lowering of circulating triglyceride. So remember the chart in which we have discussed the which drug decreases the how much of percentage of particular cholesterol. So in which we have seen that it decreases the triglyceride, the fibrate decreases the triglyceride by 20 to 50%. So triglyceride is the main component of VLDL. Okay, so by this drug the VLDL and triglyceride both will be decreased. Okay, so it decreases it by activating the lipoprotein lipase enzyme, which is the key enzyme in degradation of VLDL. This effect is exerted through the nuclear peroxisome proliferated activated receptor alpha. How lipoprotein lipase is activated? By this PPAR alpha receptor. It is generally in liver, fat and muscles. PPRF alpha may also mediate or enhance LDL receptor expression in liver. So it is particularly with second generation fibrate like bezafibrate and fenofibrate, and ultimately fibrate decreases the hepatic triglyceride synthesis as well. So three mechanisms. First, it increases the degradation. Second, it enhances the LDL receptor, and third, it also decreases the synthesis, triglyceride synthesis. So as we can see in this flow chart, fibrate act on PPARF alpha active receptor and ultimately activate the lipoprotein lipase and decreases the plasma triglyceride, increases the plasma HDL. So this is the mechanism of action. Pharmacokinetic includes absorb rapidly and efficiently, 90% half-lives, which is from 1 hour to 20 hours, and excreted in urine. In some patients with hypertriglyceridemia, LDL cholesterol may rise. How it is rise? Now we can see, because of inability of LDL receptor to clear the excess number of LDL particle which is generated by the enhanced VLDL catabolism. Remember the diagram before starting the drugs, the diagram, so in which we have seen that VLDL is generated or catabolized to LDL. So now here VLDL is very much acted upon, so which is converted to LDL. So LDL will be increased, which is for a time being, not for the permanently, because LDL receptor is also increased. So ultimately it will clear, but at the time of starting of treatment, it can be seen like this picture. It increases the LDL, HDL cholesterol also. Transfer of surface lipid component from catabolized VLDL to LDL, HDL occur, and that's why it increases the production of HDL. So this is the mechanism how HDL is ultimately made from the VLDL. Now the drugs which include gemfibrozil, the fibrate drug, which is a fibric acid derivative which lowers the plasma triglyceride level by enhancing the breakdown and suppressing the hepatic synthesis of triglyceride. Now gemfibrozil plus statin, which increases the risk of myopathy and adverse effect common. It is epigastric distress, loose motion, skin rashes, body ache, eosinophilia, impotence, headache and blur vision. Myopathy is uncommon, but it can be increased by taking with statin. First, it is a first line drug for the patient with markedly raised triglyceride level, whether or not cholesterol level are raised. Episodes of acute pancreatitis are prevented in patient with chylomicronemia and severe hypertriglyceridemia. So acute pancreatitis, there is more chance of acute pancreatitis in the patient who is having a increased triglyceride level. So which is a first line drug for the ultimately this is the first line drug for the hypertriglyceridemia. It is also most effective in type 3 hyperlipoproteinemia and also beneficial in type 4 and 5 diseases. So this is the reason we have been going through all this table. Patient with raised triglyceride and low HDL cholesterol is to be, which is generally seen with the metabolic syndrome or type 2 diabetes mellitus, so it is most suitable for this type of patients. Second drug is bezafibrate, which is alternative to gemfibrozil in mixed hyperlipidemias, same type 3, 4 and 5. It is indicated in hypercholesterolemia type 2 also, but which is inferior to statin and resin. It is not associated with the myopathy. It do not increase LDL cholesterol in hypertriglyceridemia patient and appears to have greater LDL cholesterol lowering action than gemfibrozil. જે આપણે સ્ટાર્ટિંગમાં LDL cholesterol is increased, which is less likely seen with the bezafibrate. Circulating fibrinogen and glucose level may be decreased, and side effect which is GI upset, myalgia and rashes. So this is bezafibrate. Now third is fenofibrate, which is another second generation prodrug which is having a greater HDL cholesterol raising and greater LDL cholesterol lowering action than other fibrate. Barabar. So it is a more appropriate as an adjuvant drug in patient or subject with raised LDL cholesterol levels in addition to raised triglyceride level. So in patient who is having a hypertriglyceridemia but also having a high LDL-CL, so in that patient we may use the fenofibrate rather than bezafibrate or gemfibrozil. T1F is also 20-hour and no LDL-CH rise seen with this drug. Adverse effects include myalgia, hepatitis, rashes, cholelithiasis and rhabdomyolysis. So these are the almost common side effects of all the hypolipidemic drug: myalgia, rhabdomyolysis, hepatitis, cholelithiasis. Okay. Phenobarbital appears to be the most suitable fibrate for combining with the statin, as there is no myalgia or rhabdomyolysis. With the or myopathy will be decreased with statin. Fibrate therapy generally, now general consideration of the fibrate therapy. So fibrate therapy should be discontinued after 2 months if an adequate lowering of triglyceride level is not obtained. So whenever you are going to start any fibrate in patient with the hypertriglyceridemia, so see that it should be decreased or it to be come to the low normal level within 2 months. Routine use of fibrate should be discouraged for the primary or secondary prevention of cardiovascular disease, chronic kidney disease or diabetes. So discouraged for primary or secondary prevention. For the prevention, fibrate should not be prescribed. Combination of fibrate with the statin for the primary or secondary prevention of CVD is also not recommended. So ultimately it is used for treatment, not for the prevention. Other drug is saroglitazar, which is a novel plasma glucose, as well as, so fibrate now completed. Now newer drug which is a saroglitazar, which is a novel plasma glucose as well as lipid lowering drug. It is a dual PPAR alpha and PPAR gamma agonist, but chemically different from the thiazolidinediones, which is an anti-diabetic drug, and fibrate, which is an anti-lipidemic drug. Saroglitazar has been tested in 3 small clinical trials. So ultimately it is having a not that much database to prove its efficacy and safety, but as per this sentence we can prescribe it with the caution. So plasma triglyceride and total cholesterol was lowered, while HDL cholesterol was increased marginally, while fasting plasma glucose as well as HbA1c. HbA1c is a previous 3-month average glucose, which is dropped. Side effect is weakness, fever and gastritis. But the whole adverse effect profile of saroglitazar is still to be unfold, as particularly PPAR alpha agonists are known to cause many off-target toxicities also. So PPAR alpha and gamma agonist we have to further study for the side effect. So saroglitazar is currently approved only in India for the diabetic dyslipidemia. The patient is having diabetes plus dyslipidemia and hypertriglyceridemia, which is not controlled by the statin, okay, which is a lipaglyn. So now we will discuss further hypolipidemic drug in second part of our lecture.